Good morning, YouTube. Scott Lett here, owner of Iron City Power Washing. We're out here at this 44 building apartment complex. It's currently 7:40. Plan on being out here to about 3 or 4 today. The goal for today is to get 6 buildings finished along with all the sidewalks, and then potentially doing the office. But priority is the buildings. Mold is not the issue here. It's all of the spider webs, which, just like that, on each building. And I've advised them to get a pest control company out here to spray for spiders once we finish. Otherwise, those are going to be back fairly quickly. So I'm here about an hour before the rest of my crew gets here. I'm going to get a jump on the sidewalks. They are going to tag team soft washing the buildings. So let's crank up and get rolling. All right, guys, so I have gotten 10 of the 12 sidewalks finished. My business partner has moved down to this building. I noticed these buildings get a little bit smaller and they're not near as dirty, so they should move a little bit faster. These are the last 2 sidewalks that I have. This one, and there's one identical to this on the other side. But this building is massive. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start on the building, get this half of the building done, and then I will clean this sidewalk, move my truck down, soft wash that side of the building, clean that sidewalk, pack up, and then I'll head back down there to finish whatever needs to be done. I think I was a little ambitious on how many we can do in a day. I said 6, which we're going to stay and get 6 done, but I think 4 or 5 is more realistic. But after today, after knock out these 6, it is 5 per day for the rest of the job. There's 44 buildings total. They're really big buildings in the woods. So I've already gone through a lot of SH on this job. I mean, it was up to about where my whip line is right there. But that is some really hot SH, so I may add some water to it. Since it's just cobwebs, I just need the cobwebs to break apart the what makes up the cobweb, I guess. It breaks them down really well. So I could add a little bit of water to that with the 1.8. It'll still be strong enough. That way we're saving some SH. And these sidewalks are cleaning up just fine with downstreaming pre and post treat. So let's get after it. What's up, guys? It is Saturday. It's time to watch the football, hang out with the family, but just want to give you guys a recap of this past week. I've always told you guys that I will share the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this past week was pretty ugly for Iron City Power Washing. But before I get too specific, if you ever do any subcontract work, meaning like a large landscaping company in our instance, subbed us out to do a job for an apartment complex, verify the scope of work with your client, which is the landscaping company or general contractor, whoever it may be. Just make sure the scope of work is clear, is double check it, make sure this is exactly what they want. Because of this, we were told to quote all the buildings and sidewalks connected to the buildings we were cleaning. So that's what we quoted. A bunch of the management got fired in the middle of all of this. A new property manager came in and got a quote from another company to clean everything, like the buildings, the curbs, the retaining walls, literally every inch of that property. We were not given that scope of work, so all we quoted were the buildings. Well, with our price and the markup of the large landscaping company, those two things together came fairly close to the other company that was contacted directly. Those price points were very similar. So corporate assumed that our scope of work was the same as the other one. Ours got approved. So when the property manager saw that was approved, she assumed, because the other quote from the other company included everything, that our scope of work, our approved estimate, along with the landscaping company's markup on our price, included everything. We were 11 buildings into the job, and we were told to stop all pressure washing. There was a big miscommunication on the scope of work, and it was nothing that we did wrong. This was a miscommunication between the landscaping company who subbed us out and with the property managers of the apartment complex. They said it was their fault, and but they decided to proceed with the other company who is going to do everything for pennies. When I say pennies, guys, absolute pennies. They're going to be out there. They're a smaller company. I mean, it's going to be 2 months of work for them, and they're hardly going to make any money. So just make sure that you overcompensate communication and the scope of work and what's actually approved, and meeting with the property manager before you start the job, just to make sure. We did not do that. We assumed that they had everything under control. We just showed up and got to work. So we lost a $23,000 apartment complex. But you know what? I've been doing this almost 10 years. Nothing really shakes me anymore. Because right after that, I said, you know what? That sucks. But we're going to just keep moving forward. We still have, 3 to 4 weeks worth of work on the schedule. We'll just move things up. And that's what we did. And literally the next day we landed 7 roof washes and some other residential jobs. So the Lord, man, when you just stay focused, laser focused on what's in front of you, and you persevere, and you just don't let things shake you, it's going to be okay. But the other things that happened, I was on my way to Home Depot to get some fittings for our new machine, and I heard some whistling outside of my window. Well, I had a flat tire. Luckily, I made it to Tire Engineers. So I was blessed to be able to make it to a tire shop in time. So that was a blessing and a curse. Ended up having to buy 4 new tires for the truck because the other ones were in bad shape too. And then it gets even better. Our F-350, our big rig that holds a lot of water, the engine blew up. So it has been a very eventful past week. So we lost a large apartment complex. Had to spend $2,000 on tires, and now we're going to have to spend some money on a new vehicle, which is fine because we buy new vehicles every year anyways, because our accountant tells us to, because of the tax brackets we're entering, because of our gross revenue. So it's not a big deal. I just don't let things bother me anymore like that, because you know what? We're an established company. We save money throughout the year for things like this to happen. Where you get in trouble, guys, is when you do not prepare for things like this to happen, because it's usually not just one thing that happens. It's usually a few things, and I've learned that. So you just have to be prepared. You have to know that things are going to break. You have to realize that things you use every single day are going to get worn out. But somehow the F-350 did not have any oil in it, and the engine burned up. So how that happens is beyond me. But anyways, guys, I wanted to show you guys that even companies who are generating all this revenue, companies who've been doing this for a long time, seasoned owners, we still face hard times. All right. But with the right mindset, you will get through it, and you will not let it shake you like it used to. Like, if that were to happen to me a few years ago, I'd be freaking out. My whole weekend would be ruined. I'd be really worried. But when you just learn to just face it and realize you're going to wake up next week and have jobs, you have 2 other trucks to get the jobs done, and you will, eventually get a new truck. And the last thing you want to do is freak out and just go buy the first truck you find. Like, take your time and make sure you get the right truck, right vehicle to last you another year or 2 before you have to buy another one. But anyways, things happen. The Lord is still in control. Just give all those problems to Him, and He will take care of it. We have a huge week this next week, which is going to be close to what we were going to make in 1 week of cleaning at the apartment. So like, we made up for it. So it's really cool to see, the Lord continue to work even through hard times with the business. So anyways, I told you guys I was gonna share with you the hard times, and it was a very unfortunate week, but we made it through it. We have plenty of work. We budgeted and planned for it. So with all those things being said, it's not that big of a deal. So I hope you guys have a blessed weekend. I hope you have a good weekend. Keep moving forward. Just take on the hard times. Appreciate those hard times, because those hard times make the good times even sweeter. Scott Lett, Iron City Power Washing.